First of all, just incredibly proud of our team. It has been a season of resilience and toughness, having to adjust, having to take on new roles, and they've continuously stepped up to the challenge. And they bust their butts every day. They compete at a high level, and just will themselves and our team to do things that I've never seen. So really proud of them. Certainly congratulations to New York. They earned it. We gave them a battle, but we came up short.
Questions? Can you pass this down?
Hi, Steph. How would you describe the challenges of playing Benijah Laney and just the difficulty of game planning for a player like that?
Shoot, I remember calling her games at Rutgers and just, remembering how relentless she is, like how hard she plays, how competitive she is. But, adding the consistent three-point shot has changed her game. You try to play tendencies as much as you can, but she's so explosive off the bounce. She's really good at reading mismatches and, taking small guards down low and posting them up. And, now not just being able to catch and shoot from three, but shoot behind screens, all of those things. She's a nightmare of a matchup, and she's relentless. She plays her tail off, and so she's really is a tough matchup.
Thank you.
When Alyssa went back to the locker room for a few minutes in the fourth quarter and you guys were huddled on the bench, kind of what was your message to your team, and kind of, were there any talks about just playing for AT, and kind of were you guys able to get through that?
Yeah, certainly it was, hey, look, we got to compete. We got to compete. We've got to scrap. We've got to claw. And, she's carried us all year long. It's time for us to go out and to lift her up, right? I felt like I don't know how long she was out or what the score was at the time, but I felt like our team went out and responded to that. And then before I knew it, she was back on the bench, and so got her back in there.
Following up on that, AT just sat here and said she's had a season for the record books. How have you just seen her grow as a leader, especially after losing Breezy?
Yeah, AT is one of one. Like, I've been around a lot of great players, but what she's able to do on a nightly basis, there are great scorers, there are great rebounders, there are great facilitators, and they all play a position. She does all of that from a post position. She really is incredible. She has had a year for the record books, but I am most proud of the way that she's grown as a leader, and I don't mean grown from season to season, because I don't know what she was like before. I mean grown from this season at the beginning of the year to now. Trusting her teammates, understanding sort of when to challenge them, and when to encourage them. She's a player that leads by example typically, and I feel like she became much more vocal as the season went on. She truly is one-on-one.
Stephanie, when Alyssa was up here, one of the prevailing things that she brought up was how proud she was of this group, and that the team could have folded when, Bree Jones went down, but everyone fought, including to the end of this game. How, I guess, in your mind, are those kind of conflicting emotions of maybe that pride of seeing how far the team got, the disappointment of not making it to the finals, and how did you see also the team, did you see them also have that little bit of a silver lining too, not just the disappointment?
Yeah, she's right. Again, this is a group that coming into the year with Breezy that was counted out, right? And then Breezy goes down, and how do we regroup, reorganize, reprioritize how we're going to play on both ends of the floor? We were in the middle of a road trip, I think, at that time. And, I think not only just how this group was able to play through that and rise up and play for Breezy, but the improvement that our young players made in order to position ourselves to be competing to go to a finals is critical. I mean, Ty, Liv, Nay's still really a young player as well. How T, I mean, she's still really young too. It's like, the improvements that they've made and the ownership that they've taken in their roles to position us to compete the way that we've competed has been fun to watch.
Vicky, last question.
Steph, why is AT so underrated? Like, why doesn't she get more credit, in your opinion?
Because she doesn't look the part. I mean, I don't know. It's, that's my opinion. It's like, you look at AT and look, I don't know her injuries. She can't, raise her arm above her head. She's not the same shooter she was in college. She's undersized in the post. Doesn't have quote unquote perimeter skills. She just doesn't look the part, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's about what you get done, right? And the way that you get it done. And she gets all of those specialty stats, scoring, rebounding, and assists, every night, all of them. You won't ask a player why AT doesn't get respect, because they all respect her. Right? They all respect her. I mean, athletes know the game. So it's not coming from there. I still believe that she's the most underrated superstar in our game.
As a quick follow-up to all of that, do you feel like there's an underappreciation in basketball for a player who can do it all?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think amongst those of us who are playing and coaching, I don't think there's an underappreciation. I think sometimes there might be from the outside looking in, that there may be, but I don't really know. I just, I know what I see on a daily basis. I know what I see when I look at a stat sheet. I know what I saw when I was calling her games, and what I see every day in the work that she puts in, as a coach, and the disrespect that she continues to get from the officials. It's like it is hard to officiate a player like AT, just like it's hard to officiate bigs. But the excuse of she's just so physical, it makes it tough is not legit. So I don't know. She's an anomaly. She's one of one.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Last question, Jeff.
Sorry, Steph. Just could you run us through the last play of the game and what did you ideally want to see there?
The last play, well, we wanted to be able to try to get a quick three off of a pitchback. We had a couple of different options, and I think New York did a good job of kind of containing that a little bit and didn't let us get to it.
Steph, congratulations on the season. It's been sort of a long route for you to get from time in Indiana to the season that you guys have just had. I know we've talked a lot about the players around you. Mm-hmm. Take me through what this has meant for you, and to what extent has this been validating for you to have this kind of campaign with Coach of the Year and a hair's breadth from a Game 5?
Yeah, it's been a lot. This group. I told him in there, it's like it's been a privilege to coach them. That I am so thankful that I get to ride with them, because they're resilient, they're tough-minded. They remind me of those teams in Indiana. Just, you look on paper and you might not think that that we're going to compete the way that we do, but there's no substitute for just grit and toughness and willingness to sacrifice for something bigger than yourself. And that's part of what drew me here. I learned a lot about myself in my coaching journey. I didn't know if I'd ever coach again. I didn't know if I'd ever coach again. It's not just because of professional stuff, but personal stuff. And, you know, I couldn't have landed at a better place, with a better group of women, with a better organization. You know, what we've been able to accomplish, it's really got nothing to do with us as coaches. Like, let's be honest, it's about players. And this group of players have been successful. And they understand what it takes. And so for me, just to be able to be a part of it, I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful. You know, I've been around this game a long time, and I know that locker room's not going to be the same as it has been this year. And so I'm glad that I've been able to ride with them and our staff, and just, you know, I'll take some time to reflect, you know, now that we're finished. But right now, just extreme gratitude.
And you have Dewana as a free agent. Do you expect to have Alyssa Thomas trying to recruit her?
Well, I expect that. I hope so. You know, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph.